Like, it teach you how to search. I could put one search in. Like, my beef when I was in jail, my search used to always be United States Parole Commission, RICO Squad. So if you just look up United States Parole Commission, yeah, so for an example, my issue was parole commission issue. If you type parole commission in the LexisNexis search, you'll get every case that the United States Parole Commission had to respond to in any district. And now I don't got to use LexisNexis because that's what we was using in the feds. Now I use Pacer to go straight to it. But if you put LexisNexis in there, it's going to give you, if you put the search in the LexisNexis in the law library in the feds, you're going to get every case pertaining to that in whatever circuit. You can even expand your search to 10th Circuit, 9th Circuit, 12th Circuit, or you can expand your search to the district. So when I was a youngster in jail, all the old timers who taught me law, they used to encourage me to go to the criminal law books. It was only one or two remedies for a person in my situation. Either you file to try to have your cop taken back, which is virtually impossible in DC after a certain amount of time. Like, they're gonna take you through hell. But I'm not gonna give you the other options that's dishonorable. I'm gonna skip those options. I'm not even gonna encourage nobody to read those options. But in my situation, criminal law wasn't helping me, so I had to go to civil law. I got out of jail under 2241, where you filed what's called a habeas corpus. Habeas corpus comes from Latin, which means to produce the body. Back in the day in England and during Civil War times in this country, Abraham Lincoln actually suspended habeas corpus, but it was a way for you to file to a court to implore that you were being confined illegally. So I came up with a legal scheme to say that, yo, I caught a body at 16. The judge sentenced me to a certain term of time because of my age, sent me to law, and the DC parole board was in effect, all right? The DC parole board would have paroled me just like they paroled other people on the same charge in 10 or 15 years. The federal government, by way of the United States Parole Commission, wanted anybody with a body to serve at least 220 some months. I realized that there's a clause in the United States Constitution called ex post facto. Ex post facto is you cannot be punished or penalized for a crime or an offense if the penalty or the punishment was not in effect when the crime was committed. Do you get that? Perfect example is this. Let's say I jaywalked in 1993. And the penalty for jaywalking was $25. I didn't get caught in 93, but they got a videotape of me doing this in 93, and they catch me in 1998. If the penalty for jaywalking is $100 in 1998, but I committed the offensive jaywalking in 1993, in 1998, when they catch me, they can only charge me $25. If they try to charge me $100 because they caught me in 98, but I committed the crime in 93, then that is a violation of what's called the ex post facto of the United States Constitution. Fast forward to my issue. My issue was I committed a crime in 93. At 16, I got convicted of this crime. They gave me a penalty, and then they shut down Lawton and shut down the DC Board of Parole, which forced us all to go to the feds, which forced us to only be able to make parole through the United States Parole Commission. The United States Parole Commission changed the amount of time that they wanted me to do for the body. So what I did was I filed through civil law 2241 to challenge the legality of my confinement, which triggered a whole nother set of rules that made the parole commission have to see me again. So what they did was, the first thing I do, which people got to read, the first thing I did was study the DC parole rules, which was the rules I was convicted under. Under DC parole rules, I learned that you get 1/3 good time for the time that you did superior programming. Anybody that know me was in prison with me know that I went to school or the law library or some type of class every single day for 17 years. So when I seen the parole board in 11 years and they didn't give me my credit for educational programming good time, which they only gave me 12 months, I filed again. I said, yo, I've been incarcerated almost 12 years, and you divide 12 years by 3, you come up with 4 years. That means you owe me about 46 months in parole time taken away. It took about 3 years to do it. They gave me the 44 months. It took about 2 more years to get to the next level of the appeal. By the time I got to the next level of the appeal, the United States Parole Commission said, fuck that, man, we ain't dealing with him. Let Eon go. Look my case up. Eon Williams versus Joyce Francis. The case says denied. Although the case says denied, that's a legal game that they play in the law books. Many people who don't have the diligence that I have, they'll look in the law books and they'll say, oh, this case got denied. I ain't reading this case. I implore you, if you got to read cases that say denied and granted, because in cases that say denied, many times there's good law in it. I got my law out of a case that was granted, but I'm telling you, if you look at my case was denied, but everything that I asked for in that case, the parole commission gave me within 60 months, and I made parole on the life sentence. You can look the case up. Eon Williams versus Joyce Francis. When you file a 2241, you must challenge the warden, because the warden is the person who has custody over you. If you commit a crime in a state, for an example, Maryland, when you're finally convicted, if it's a state crime to come out of a state court, you are convicted and you are sentenced and you are committed to the custody of the governor of that state. That's who controls everything. So it would be Westmore would be who's in control of you if you had a charge in Maryland. If you get a charge in D.C., whether you go to Superior Court or Federal Court, you are committed to the custody of the Attorney General, which means the Department of Justice, the DOJ, is in charge of you. So when I argue or debate with people about Superior Court or Federal Court, it makes no difference what court you come out of or where they send you, because you're committed to the custody of the United States Attorney General. They can send your ass to Guantanamo Bay if they want to, bro. Like, the feds can do whatever they want to do to you once you committed to the Attorney General. That's the DOJ. That's not a state. A state only has control of you within that state unless they get permission from someone to say that we don't want you in our Department of Corrections. You are too dangerous or too influential for our state system, so we have to send you to the Bureau of Prisons. How bad is the RICO charge? The RICO charge can send you away for life. They got a part of the RICO charge, 848B, depending on what they want to do with you. They can kill you. They can execute you. They can seek the death penalty. They sought the death penalty against Anthony Jones. They sought the death penalty against Wayne Perry. They sought the death penalty against David Wilson. Shout out to Congress Pop. I got homies that face the death penalty that ain't tell we got a homie right now named Joseph E. Brown on death row right now in Terry Hut. Yeah, but it got to be 848B. They can execute you for RICO, bro. They tried to execute Wayne Perry on a RICO charge. Alpo was trying to get him executed. He was trying to get that needle put in his arm. I got some books that got this in there. Some of my books that got this in there are fiction, but you got to read. My fiction got real life in it. Read Lord and Legends. Read Never Lay Down. Go to Amazon.com right now and type in Eon Williams. If you read Never Lay Down was the blueprint on how to get back out of jail before the homie started getting out of jail. Shout out to Wop. Bonafide, solid man. Face the death penalty, and he don't even be talking that talk. Face the death penalty. I ain't never did that. You can't say nothing to a man that faced the death penalty, but you got dudes out here breaking and telling on little charges. Shout out to Wop. Shout out to David Wilson. David Wilson faced the death penalty, bro. They was going to kill that man. Kill that man, and he made it back out of prison with honor. So when y'all talking about, oh, Eon be riding hard on the rest, bro, I gotta be hard on the rest. When you got men like David Wilson, Wop, shout out to Congress Pop, you got men like him that faced the death. They was going to kill him, and he ain't telling on nobody. The name of the book is called Never Lay Down. Think about it. Never Lay Down. That's the name of the book. But I based it on some young guys that I made come out of a fictional neighborhood in the Kennedy Street area. But it was really, I was studying law, and I was locked up around dudes from the New Street case. I was locked up around dudes from the First Street case, the Kennedy Street case, the old Kennedy Street case, not the new one. And they were all in the law library, and you could see their cases. If you read their cases, it'll teach you how to get back. So I said, damn, this how you attack RICO. This how you attack CCE. This how you attack prosecutorial misconduct. And I was a young guy at the time. I was a writer. I didn't feel as though I knew enough to write a book that was nonfiction based on law. So I said, I'm going to put it in a fiction book. So if I get it wrong, at least I ain't do it wrong. My paperwork is open for the public. Eon Orlando Williams. Go look me up, search me, do anything you want and post it. I'm solid. I ain't never violated no code. None.